Good day everyone, my name is Denisi Fernandez and I will be grade 10. For our most essential learning competencies, the learners derive the distance formula and the learners derive the midpoint formula. For our objectives, determine the coordinate of a midpoint of a line segment on a coordinate plane using the midpoint formula. The second one, find the other endpoint of a line segment when the midpoint and one endpoint are given. And letter C, appreciate the importance of midpoint formula in making wise decision. Before we begin our class, here's an activity that we're going to do. And it's called Yes, I Can. For our instruction, you're going to give me the difference of each pair of integers and then you're going to divide by 2. Negative 8 and negative 10. Okay, very good. 1. Next, negative 12 and negative 17. That will give you negative 14.5. Next, negative 24 and 14. Okay? Okay, very good. Negative 19. How about 7 and negative 19? Okay, 13. So for our last, 21 and 15. That will give you 3. Very good. Okay, so hating kapatid. What is hating kapatid? Example, you have a burger and you have a siblings. So, para walang lamangan, hahatiin natin yung burger sa dalawa. Next one. Next example, if a plane flying between two cities and cannot stop in mid-air, of course, to ascertain its position, if you are the pilot and the plane gets some engine damage, will you go back or head on a final destination? What factor would you consider in making a decision? So, the question is for you to answer. Next example, across the room are two best friends, Sarah and John. Laying at the exact midpoint between them is the perfect zombie-killing potion. Unfortunately, Sarah and Jen have both developed a taste for brain, so they won't be much help. What are the coordinates of the zombie-killing potion? So if you're going to take a look, okay, there is the potion. Next example, Strike and Cheska are having their vacation for an islands in the Philippines, as illustrated below. They decided to meet at a point halfway between their location to save travel time. Find the exact coordinate of a midpoint between the two islands where they meet. Can you tell me where is it? So halfway or midpoint? What is midpoint? The endpoint of a line segment are P and Q. Point M is the midpoint if it divides the line segment PQ into two equal parts. And how do we determine the coordinates of a midpoint of a line segment? We can use the midpoint formula. For our midpoint formula, M is equal to the x sub 1 plus x sub 2 over 2 for the x, and y sub 1 plus y sub 2 over 2. Here's the illustration of a line segment and a midpoint, where x sub 1 and y sub 1, x sub 2 and y sub 2 are the two endpoints, while x sub 1 plus x sub 2 over 2, y sub 1 plus y sub 2 over 2 is our midpoint. For our illustrative one, the coordinates of an endpoint A and B are 1, 7, and 9, 3 respectively. Question: what is the coordinate of its midpoint C? Solution. Let x sub 1 is equals to 1, y sub 1 is equals to 7, x sub 2 is equals to 9, and y sub 2 equals to 3. After identifying all the coordinates, substitute this value in our midpoint formula. So we're going to have 1 plus 9 over 2 and 7 plus 3 over 2. So we have 10 over 2 and 10 over 2. And our midpoint of a line segment AB are 5, 5. Example number 2. The coordinates of the endpoint of a line segment DF is negative 1 and 3 and negative 2 and negative 10. So solution, first identify which is the x sub 1 and x sub 2, y sub 1 and y sub 2. Substitute this value in the midpoint formula. Now, knowing that negative 2 and negative 10 will be added to our first value, which is negative 1 plus negative 2, that will give you negative 3, while 3 plus negative 10 will give you negative 7, as the rule of sign are followed. So the answer will be the coordinate of a midpoint of line segment DF are negative 3 over 2 and negative 7 over 2. Okay, so let's change the given. For example number 3, if point C, 2 and 5 is the midpoint of line segment AB and one endpoint A has the coordinate of 6 and 2, find the coordinate of the another endpoint B. First, we have to do the x coordinate of B and y coordinate of B. So, x sub 1 plus x sub 2 over 2 is equal to 2. Y sub 1 plus y sub 2 over 2 is equals to 5. Knowing that 2 and 5 are the midpoint. So, replace x with 6 and y with 2. So, 6 plus x sub 1 over 2 is equals to 2. 2 plus y sub 2 over 2 is equals to 5. So, for the next step, multiply each side by 2. 6 plus x sub 2 is equal to 2 times 2, which is 4, while 2 plus y sub 2 is equal to 5 times 2 is equals to 10. For the next step, let's apply AP. So, we're going to have x sub 2 is equals to negative 2 and y sub 2 is equal to 8. Then we have our coordinate of 2 and 8. Example number 4. Point P, which is negative 1 and 2, is the midpoint of the line segment RF, and one endpoint F has the coordinate of 7 and negative 8. We're going to find the coordinate of the other endpoint R. So for our step, let x coordinate of F and y coordinate of F. Using our midpoint formula, x sub 1 plus x sub 2 over 2 is equal to negative 1, while y sub 1 plus y sub 2 over 2 is equal to 1. So let's substitute the value of x sub 1 and y sub 1 of point F. So 7 plus x sub 2 over 2 equals negative 1. Negative 8 plus y sub 2 over 2 is equal to 2. 7 plus x sub 2 equals negative 2, and negative 8 plus y sub 2 is equals to 4, because we multiply it by 2 to cancel the denominator 2 in our second solution. Next, applying APE again, so we have x sub 2 is equals to negative 2, negative 7, while y sub 2 is equals to 4, plus 8. So, x sub 2 is equals to negative 9 and y sub 2 is equals to 12. So, the coordinate of the other endpoint r is negative 9 and 12. Now you are ready for our next activity. Are you ready? Let's start. Go to joinmyquiz.com. Enter the join code. This will be an asynchronous activity, so I will going to give you the join code in our GC. The next activity will be asynchronous too, which is named as Amazing Kalamba. Have you gone to Kalamba? Do you discover that there are many barangays in Kalamba? As you can see in the map, I located some of the iconic location in Kalamba. For the instruction, solve the following problem by using the midpoint formula. Simple. So each situation, you're going to use the midpoint formula for you to identify what is the location in the Kalamba. So here are the location of each iconic places in Kalamba. Hope you identify all the locations that are given in our situation. Our evaluation. Each and every one of you are given a worksheet. There are two parts. Part is our assessment for the week, and the second part is a performance test that you need to answer and will be passed on the next retrieval. For follow-up, I will give you home delight. Use the following diagram and find the midpoint of each side of a triangle. And then, study the coordinate proof. There are two questions. First, you're going to define the coordinate proof. And number two, how do you determine the missing coordinate of the vertices of the geometric figures? For the last part of this video, I want you to reflect on this item. The guide questions will allow you to answer the reflections. Hope you enjoyed the lessons. Goodbye, and I will talk to you later.